Good afternoon. Today I got a little different project. I picked up a large parts lot a few years ago, and as time would have it, I'm slowly getting through those parts. One of the things I did happen to pick up was this set of fork legs. I knew they were in the pile, and I want to use these legs for a project that I am working on. They've been sitting for a little while, and I've been hesitant to try to take these apart. From the looks of it, the bike was in a fire. I don't think these parts were necessarily directly in the fire, but they definitely have heat damage. The seals are, of course, melted and falling apart. You can see the discoloration on the, on the legs and on all the parts, honestly. So I'm not sure how easily this is going to come apart. I did soak it with oil yesterday, and when I did that, I was able to move this leg. This one still is stuck in there, so I'm not sure if that's going to come off. But my thoughts are today, I'll go ahead and unscrew the bottoms here and try to pull the tubes out, because all I really need is the legs. So we're going to attempt that today and see how that goes. I do know that this one's already loose. I don't know if the other side is as well, and I'm not sure if these legs will even come out. I hope they will. It's crazy to run into parts like this where they've been in a fire or around a fire and things have been melted. I've had a couple of motorcycles that way that were in real bad shape, and of course were fun to take apart. You find a lot of it isn't salvageable, and you got to feel for people like that that have been through a fire. I'm very grateful that I have not, and I hope I've never experienced that. Some of these old bikes, yeah, you can insure them, and that's great, and you'll get the payout for it, but how do you replace it? I've got a couple bikes in the barn that I couldn't replace, ever. I would be lost without a couple of them, honestly. And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get these legs and tubes to separate at all. You can see the soot that's coming off of these things. They're super gross. I am hoping to clean them up real well. The set of legs that I have here, I want to shave them down and make them smooth. There'll be no fenders running. So I'd like to, use these for that application since they are in pretty rough shape. You can tell where the oil is stopping because the tube itself is catching on the lower triple tree here and doesn't want to move. There's one. I'm not sure if this one's going to come apart or not. Everything's loose, and the tube itself should come apart now, but I'm not sure how expanded everything is inside of this. So it might be days of soaking this with oil to be able to get these to come apart, since nothing moves. I mean, these, well, actually this one is coming. That worked out better than I expected. This one actually started to move, and maybe it was just the few hits with the hammer or the mallet there that helped it. It's pretty gross inside. I don't have my seal puller right now, so I will have to get that and then pull the seal out, which I'm sure is going to be a nightmare considering everything in there is super brittle. You can hear it cracking and falling apart as I pick at it. Hopefully, I'll be able to get that out. Few raps of the hammer, and it is starting to turn. And slowly but surely, I think I can get this leg off. Not sure what's holding that in place now. I know there's usually a retaining ring in there that holds the seal in place, but with the seal being as rough as it is, I can't see the ring. I'm not sure what's there and what's melted. Not sure what I could pull out of here. As you can see, that seal's coming out in chunks. It's pretty rough. My hope is I'll be able to pull this one apart since I have the tube off and kind of see how the leg and the tube are assembled together and potentially figure out a way to pull that apart. It's a retainer spring. Super great shape. Now that I've got pieces flying everywhere, I figure it's a good idea to put my safety glasses on. It's one of the things I don't really want to compromise is my eyesight. Probably one of the easiest seal removals I've ever done. Probably can't see in there, but all that seal came out in hard, crispy chunks. Obviously, because this all had melted, it made everything super brittle. That didn't give me any indication as to how this one comes apart or why it would be stuck together. So I do need to figure that out. There's something holding this in place, and I'm not sure if it's just the seal because it's so damaged in there that's holding it. Or if there's a retainer clip in here that I'm just not seeing. Or if something is melted inside there that I just can't get apart, which could be. I don't want to damage the leg itself. The tubes I don't care about because they're not in good shape and honestly they'll get recycled. I don't believe any of the guts inside or anything is even salvageable. I will try to pull them apart and see what I'm working with inside there to see how hot they actually got. But I don't assume that anything's any good inside there. If it is, I'll be truly amazed. And I do know that sometimes these studs can get stuck in the bottoms here and it just free spins. And I do wonder if that's something that I have going on, if that's just spinning inside there, which it could be. And if that's the case, I'm not sure how I'm going to get this apart. It definitely does feel like that's the case, that that's actually catching in the bottom there and it's holding it in place. And I don't want to damage the leg itself, so I'm not sure exactly how to get that to come out. I can create enough pressure on there to hold it would be optimal. We'll let weight do its thing. See if that helps. try removing the drain screw here and see what kind of access I can get through that. Not sure if I can push a pick in there and hold everything in place. If that'll help, it might. So I think we're going to try that and see what kind of results we get here. It's just like working in a fireplace. another trick I've used in the past. Take one of the springs, create a little pressure, shove it all the way down the tube, and what it does is it pushes on the internals in here, keeping everything kind of in place. And that actually worked. I was able to pull the stud out, as you can see, and now the lower comes off. And this was the issue. This was free spinning inside that tube itself, which I suspected, and I couldn't create enough pressure to actually be able to do anything to keep it in place. So what I did is I've got extra springs laying around. These are a little bit longer set, which is nice. And so I was able to push that down the tube and then push that against my vise and hold everything in place so I could actually remove the leg. So now I actually have two nice legs. I'll soak these for a little while in the parts wash, see what I can get off of here, see how clean I can get them before I take them in. Again, I do want to have these turned down. I want to, eliminate the reflector pad. I want to eliminate the fender mounts, and I want to eliminate the drum brake stay. And of course on the other side it only has fender mounts. So if I can get those pieces cleaned up and smooth, then I'll have a nice smooth clean front end. The front end I have in mind is a 4-over extended tube, clean front, no brake front end. So with that, I'll just need to get this thing set up properly. So I've got a friend of mine that actually turns these, and I'll have him turn them down for me once I get them a little cleaner. And of course, if you guys are wondering how to take these apart, let me show you. Got these handy dandy Milwaukee ring compressors, and we don't want them to stretch, we want them to collapse. So we just switch this to the other side, and it reverses this, so they'll actually compress. So we'll grab our spring clip here. I think I've got the right size tool. Yep. We'll slowly start working that out. And that pulls that spring out, that spring clip out. Once that's out of place, this should dump out of there. Unfortunately, with these being fire parts, they might not come apart. And thankfully it is. With the aid of the spring here, this is coming out. Of course, everything is super hard. As you can see, some of it's really dirty. We'll see how this cleans up. I'm not sure if these parts are salvageable. They don't look terrible. I've seen way worse in running bikes, honestly. But I'll try to clean these up and see if I can reuse these. It might be a possibility. They might be shot. There might be no hope for those. I'm not really sure. But I do want to clean them up just to see. Get both of those apart. That way I can put them in the parts wash at the same time and see what we can do to clean these things up. It's crazy. This one still has a lot of gunk in it. I'm sure spraying it with oil didn't help either. Move some of that stuff around. There's our spring clip. Should possibly come out. That one looks a little better for wear. We'll see if that's able to be salvaged or not. And of course I need to spray this down with more oil and then get this tube out as well. And of course, because those have been heated, I don't think that they're salvageable. I'm not sure if they're even straight. I don't know that I would run them, and I don't know if anybody else should either. I'm not really sure. I may clean them up and then take a look and then see if they are actually flush, if they're flat, they're not bent or warped, and then go from there. They're not the right length for me though, so they're not what I want. But that doesn't mean if they're not good, they couldn't be used on a future project. I'm not sure what I'm doing with them just yet. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the process here. It was a little bit of a pain in the butt. Obviously some stuck parts and some workarounds that needed to be had, so I was able to show you those. These things, of course, are super gross and covered in soot from a fire. I'm not sure what the condition of the bike was. I only got the parts, I never got the story, so I'm not sure if the whole bike was a total loss. Judging by these parts here, it probably wasn't in good shape. And I believe, if I remember right, this is all I got was the front end. So, and it may not have been on a motorcycle at all. It could have been in a garage, and this could have been laying up against a wall, and that could be what happened to it. You never know. You don't get the story, you don't know, right? Anyway, I appreciate you guys following along. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. You know, I really appreciate my subscriptions and my subscribers, and they're growing by the day. So thank you guys for subscribing. If you haven't yet, please do. If you guys like this type of content, feel free to comment on the video or share with your friends. That way, you know, they can see it too. As always, I appreciate you guys. We'll catch you next time.